Hello, today we'll be covering the upcoming Tier 8 Spanish cruiser, the Numancia. Numancia will be released as part of the upcoming event for doubloons, or can also be found in random bundles if you are lucky. The event will be starting around August 24th or 25th, so if you're interested in her and her special camo, you can check her out whenever the event does start. As usual, I'll give my captain build, going over the ship performance and my thoughts on her. Here is my captain build on the top right. You can have the same build as other Spanish cruisers. It doesn't make much of a difference. She's more of a crew trainer for the Spanish cruiser line, so you can just transfer commanders that you're using on the cruiser line and putting it on her to be able to train them to make the process quicker. Because as you know, premium ships do get a commander XP bonus, credit bonus, and for XP bonus, so it's always worth it to train your commanders off the main line so that it goes quicker. Going off of that, it's better to think of the Numancia as the generic smaller cousin of the Tier 8 Cataluna. She is notably smaller than Cataluna, but also has a smaller HP pool as a result. Armor will be shown on the top right. The raised citadel is still an issue, but the citadel is much smaller in the rear, resulting in less citadels if shells land near the second/third turret in the rear. Numancia can't run as fast as her sister, but compensates with a tighter turning ability. However, the big difference between the two can be found in her amazing concealment of 8.4 kilometers, and that's why I have the title as the Spanish funny button assassin. Not only is she the stealthiest Tier 8 cruiser, but also the stealthiest cruiser of any cruiser she can fight. That includes Tier 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10 cruisers. She can easily position close to the enemy, wait for them to show broadside before punishing them with an AP strike. Numancia doesn't have as many guns as Cataluna, but she gets an improved burst fire to compensate. The dispersion will be shown on the top right. Unlike other Spanish cruisers, she fires 3 salvos in 1 burst. AP shells have 25% more damage, but also 25% more dispersion with a very long 42-second reload. Be careful where you use it, or you'll miss out on valuable farming damage, or you'll just end up dead by not being able to shoot the enemies that are shooting you. Normally, 8-kilometer torps are nearly useless outside of torpedo rushes, but Numancia is stealthy enough to torp yellowing enemies. So if you're on a kiting flank and you have cruisers or battleships pushing at you, you are able to use the torpedoes effectively to torpedo them, as you're able to stay dark with your amazing 8.4 kilometer concealment. She does get cruiser ASW airstrikes, which is nice against submarines, but her anti-air is super ineffective versus CVs, so rip and learn to just dodge. Basically, the Numancia is meant to be played as an assassin. She sneaks up to broadside cruisers with her 8.4 kilometer concealment and burst fire them down with AP before they can respond. Rinse and repeat this process. You can even funny button DDs if you're close enough, though the extra AP is usually not enough to deal a lot of damage to battleships though. If there is nothing to bust, just play as a standard kiting cruiser. It's boring work, but will still constitute most of your performance until an opportunity arises. Overall, I'd say the Numancia has potential and a funny playstyle, but she can be very, very, very match dependent, as she mostly works in other cruisers. Also, good luck if you're unlucky enough to be up-tiered. Now, some things to note I would think about while I was playing this ship. I found that this ship did indeed have a lot of issues with being up-tiered. If you were being up-tiered in, say, Tier 9, Tier 10 matches, or mostly even Tier 8s, if you had CVs at all as well, it was just pure, unadulterated suffering. Tier 8 and 9 cruisers highly outrange her. Same with tier 8 and 9 battleships, even 10, like even the 10s, like this all out ranger. So if you do any kind of engagement close to them and you try to run away, if you get perma-spot, you're just done. I would say one of the best ways to play is probably in a div, kind of like how the Halford was. It's a great close responder ship to help defend your DD. So you have your DD about 2.5, 3 kilometers in front of you. So the DD will spot the enemy DD first. And then you use your funny button on the DD as well as your DD opening fire on the DD that is spotted. And you'll be able to kill it really quick. So having a division where you have 1 cruiser, which is the Numancia, 1 DD, and 1 battleship, you'll be able to lay waste to any DDs that try to counter or fight your DD. It's definitely a great division ship. Now, as a solo player ship, or you're playing it alone, or playing it alone, you'll have a lot of issues with if your DDs aren't very competent, or if they don't know how to stay alive, pretty much. If you just have these as W and die, or they are too far back and they don't know their role properly, it's going to be a lot harder to be able to play this particular ship. So you have to play it more passive, longer range, and at longer range, the airtime of the shells are very poor. So using AP at distance can be very, very painful. It's better just to use the HE. I found that the HE doesn't do a lot of damage for how long the reload is, so it's better just to use the HE as more of a fire starter, kind of like a fire starting ship at this, instead of just trying to just raw HE damage. So just try to set the fires, go dark. If they DCP, set more fires, rinse and repeat the process over and over again. Now again, if you are interested in this ship, you can get it in the upcoming bundle or getting it from the random containers. I have no idea if the ship will be available in the armory normally. It may be, maybe not. We don't have any information on that, so we'll have to just wait and see. I don't know how much the price would be either of the event. It hasn't been released at this time, so probably time to time you see this video, they may already have talked about the prices of the ship and the prices of everything else like that. So you guys can just let me know in the comments. By then, just let me know how much it is, and I'll pin the message and such. Another thing to know about the Numancia, I did notice that the AP does have issues with dealing with either like the tier 7s and 6 cruisers. If you're dealing with tier 6 and 7 cruisers that have not that much armor, the AP will definitely overpin them. If they're just straight up broadside to you and you're closer to them, they'll definitely you'll just overpin them. So you have an issue of overpinning the tier 6 and 7 cruisers. So even some of the tier 8s, if they have low enough armor, kind of like how it's kind of like Super Troy, like the Atlanta, ships like that with like no armor. It can be kind of trolly with them being overpinned. Like they say, the best armor is no armor. That is what they say. It does also have that kind of like issue as well. Like you can overpin some things, but then you won't be able to do as much damage to other things. Say like for battleships, the AP can also be nice on, say, like maybe around tier 8 battleships, 7, 6s. You can use the AP on them as long as you hit the upper deck, the bow, and the aft. You don't want to try to go for their civil armor, of course, because you're not going to pin that. But if you're trying to deal with tier 9 and 10 battleships, it's mostly just better just use HE, unless they're just sitting perfectly flat broadside. You can use the funny button just to get that burst damage in with the extra AP damage, go dark, and just rinse and repeat. The ship is not meant to do long duration fights. It's meant to be a quick fire, get out, fire, get out. You don't want to be firing for too long or doing that much engagements. The ship doesn't have a lot of HP, as you can already tell. It does have 25mm bow armor and aft armor, which is really nice. But again, the ship does have Citadel weaknesses like the Spanish Cruiser line, so you do have to be aware of that when you are playing this ship. The ship is definitely more of an assassin ship, or you just being super stealthy, just waiting, biding your time, kiting away, using your torpedoes to torp the enemy, just stuff like that. It's not meant to be just a pure open farm, just farming ship. So you can't expect to do a lot of damage every match. Also, if you have a lot of CV matches, this thing also suffers from being spotted at all. So if you have a CV, like a tier 8 CV or a tier 10 CV just harassing you all the time, yeah, you're pretty much screwed. This thing does not have very good anti-air, and you'll be in so much pain and suffering. It is dreadful. It is god-awful if you're dealing with CVs. Hopefully one day it'll have better anti-air, but at this point, yeah. And the fact that it's also in a bundle, I'm not the biggest fan of ships being in bundles. Hopefully the ship comes out for like regular doubloons, but at this point, we'll just see. They'll have more information out on the dev blog. They'll be coming out either today or in the future, but we'll see. But we shall seize for sure. But no, this match was a pretty nice match. Did over 100k for a tier 8 cruiser, which is really nice. I'm pretty happy with this match. It did take me a while to get a few good matches with the ship. I kept getting up tier to tier 9s and 10, and most of the time whenever I did, I would get spotted by an enemy DD as I was trying to move up, and I would just get absolutely slapped, which was not a very fun experience at all. But yep, that is going to be it. If you guys have any questions on the Numancia or anything like that, just leave them down in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. But yep, this is Overlord Bo. Thank you guys all for watching, and I will talk to y'all later.